This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. We're in Sheffield today. We've just had the GB squad announced ahead of the Olympic qualifiers next month, looking ahead to Tokyo 2020. With me, Rob McCRACKEN. Rob, talk to me about this exciting crop of young fighters we've got.
Yeah, obviously selection's done for the first qualifier in London, so it's going to be exciting for the boxers, but obviously a big challenge ahead in London.
Now, obviously, these guys used to fighting here, there and everywhere as top-tier amateurs. They're not used to fighting at home so much. How beneficial do you think it'll be for a lot of them to have their loved ones there, the fans there as well, cheering them on?
Yeah, I think it's just great for them. They're normally travelling all over the world, boxing in tournaments in the east, in the west, wherever. But yeah, I just think it'd be nice. It must be great for them to see their families watching them trying to qualify for the Olympics.
Now, obviously, you've been there, done it when it comes to the amateur scene, the Olympic Games. There's a lot of first-timers in this group. In your own words, can you explain that unique experience of going to the Olympics compared to, say, a Worlds or a Europeans?
Yeah, I think it's just the pinnacle of amateur boxing, isn't it? I think from, their families, their clubs, their club coach, and obviously arriving at GB and then becoming a successful international class boxer gets them to an Olympic qualifier, and the ultimate goal is to qualify for the Olympics. So, there's a lot on the line. The careers, they put all the effort and work into, and it's our job to try and help them get to that point where they're good enough at the tournament to qualify. There's a number of bouts to try and qualify in London. There's a second qualifier in Paris. So the right boxers have been picked for the first qualifier, but certainly, there's a pressure trying to qualify in a home tournament, and also, there's a second qualifier, so it becomes open again after the first one. If you don't qualify, you're not always guaranteed to be selected for the second one. So there's a reserve boxer who will be waiting to jump in, and they'll get a chance in the meantime to go to tournaments and try and prove their case for the second qualifier if the first boxer doesn't qualify in London.
Obviously, you've been performance director for just over 10 years now, I believe it is. We've got all these Olympic medalists on the walls around us. We've got your own collection over there, 8 medalists since you took over. We're running out of space on that wall. Do you expect we'll be adding a few more 2020?
Well, I hope so, because it's just fabulous for the boxers and their lives and their careers and their families and stuff. So let's hope it can continue. We've got some great coaches here, great team, great boxers. But the competition's tough in boxing. The world's got good at boxing. Everybody's full-time these days, so there's no easy draws, and whoever you draw, you have to respect and you have to train very hard for.
Every fighter I've spoken to today has been very complimentary of not only yourself but the setup as well. As mentioned, you've been here just over a decade. If you can, could you just sort of sum up for me the big changes and the transformation you've sort of overseen in the last 10 years?
Yeah, I think we've been fortunate and the boxers have been fortunate that there's been funding. We've been able to, bring them in full-time, centralise the programme, and, the boxers have bought in over the years, and, the home nations, the boxers, and, the belief, and you got to have role models around the place. Big Anthony Joshua, Big Josh as I call him, he's been a fantastic role model. Carl Froch before him, and they inspire the kids, and obviously Josh being, the Olympic gold medalist, they look at him and they train sometimes alongside him and say, well, if I work hard and I believe in myself, maybe I can achieve that. So it's really important for this programme we've had role models. It's important we've been able to bring in really good coaches, really good support, and give the best for the boxers so they get the best chance at trying to, win medals at Worlds, Europeans and Olympic Games.
Now, obviously, fantastic facilities here, the best boxing education they could probably ask for, but with the Olympic Games comes pressure as well, as you spoke of before. How do you sort of help them deal with that sort of expectation in a way, and also all the pressure that just sort of comes alongside it?
Yeah, I think the vast majority of the boxers selected are battle hard, and they've been to numerous tournaments, Worlds, Europeans and stuff. Some of them been to Olympic Games before. There's one or two that are fairly inexperienced at senior level, so, we'll help prepare them with support and stuff along the way, but it's just a fantastic opportunity to box in London in an Olympic qualifier. It's one that we're grateful of, but obviously one that brings an added pressure that we've got to try and get them in the best place, the best shape, so they can go out and perform. But, boxing's a fantastic sport, and, what an achievement for them to be selected for the qualifier and hopefully qualify.
Now, Rob, I'm not going to stand here and make you talk about Anthony Joshua all day because he doesn't have fight news. We're still awaiting. We think it'll be Kubrat Pulev, but just some final reflections, if you would. Obviously, we haven't seen you since the Andy Ruiz fight. A few tweaks in camp, brilliant result. Do you think we saw something close to a peak Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, I think he just showed you how intelligent he can box, and he stayed disciplined. He worked hard in camp, he listened. We had a good team in camp helping prepare him. Joby and Angel did really well working on the pads to try and help him get things right. I was overseeing most of the pad stuff, the sparring, I looked after, and he sparred really well. I was really pleased with the sparring because he really reacted, and when I asked him to achieve certain things in this week and that week, he did that. He was very driven, very determined, and you've got a lot of people around him, Benga and stuff, who've worked with him since he turned professional. There's a lot of people that are with Josh from the start of the journey to the end of the journey, but certainly he was driven, he was determined. He believed in himself. He accepted the rematch the day after the fight in New York, and I just think he's a real role model, and I just think he shows to the kids all over the UK and certainly in Sheffield at the GB HQ what you can achieve in life with a bit of belief and a bit of hard work.
Final one on that. After the first Ruiz fight, there was a lot of criticism for, as always, when a defeat comes of that magnitude, to yourself, to Anthony. You two so close-knit, stuck together, worked through it and produced a performance like that. Was it nice from a personal perspective to sort of silence those doubters as well?
Well, I just think the criticism is just, I don't know, it just looks a bit naive when you look at actually what went on in the rematch and how fairly one-sided the rematch was. So I don't know, I suppose if you criticise, I suppose you probably got to look at yourself a little bit, because the rematch was a totally different story, and if you don't succeed in life, get back up and try again, and that should be the message to people who want to criticise instantly before they fully understand something going on or a journey.
Final couple before I let you go, Rob. It's a busy time for the family. We saw Max recently, he's got his hands full with the YAFAIs. Cal YAFAI finally got that big fight he wanted. How happy are you for Cal personally and the team as well that we facing Roman Gonzalez?
Yeah, brilliant for Cal. Cal's another one, I didn't mention him, but Cal's been up here on numerous times to spar and stuff over the years. Former GB boxer, qualified for London, went to the Beijing Olympic Games before my time, lost to the Cuban, but seventh world title fight for Khalid YAFAI. What an achievement from Birmingham, where I'm from, and I think he's going to win in America, and I think he can push on from that. He's a really good fighter, Khalid YAFAI.
I think we'll see the best of him now that he has got that big name in front of him. He's been accused maybe of treading water waiting for that big fight. You think a world-class fighter in Roman Gonzalez will bring out the best Cal YAFAI?
Yeah, I think without a doubt, but I think Khalid's top class as well, and this is his seventh world title fight, and I think he's good enough to get the win, but it's going to be tough, we know that.
Final one before I let you go, Rob. Obviously later in the month a fight I'm sure you'll have a close eye on. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury running it back. I'm sure all of you, yourself, Anthony, will be keeping a firm eye on it. How do you see it playing out?
Listen, Tyson's not daft. He knows Wilder can punch, and Wilder's got ability as well. He's a great fighter, but I think Tyson will win on points. I think he'll outbox him, and I think that Tyson will be in good shape. I think he'll have a good game plan, and I think he'll get the job done. I really do. But at the same time, very, very dangerous, top level heavyweight boxing. So anything can happen. But my predictions, Tyson will outbox him.
Rob, final word. Obviously we've been here for the Olympians, so I just want to finish on that. This big qualifying event coming up in March in London. What would you say to those considering coming down and getting behind these boys and girls?
Yeah, without a doubt, if you can get to the qualifier, get there, because you got the best, some of the best boxers in the UK, Olympic boxers trying to qualify for the Olympics and fulfil their dream, and there's a lot of people on their journey with them, families, club coaches, clubs, home nations, whatever, and certainly try and roar them on over the line so they can try and do it. And there's another qualifier in Paris in May, and if they don't do it in London, let's hope they can do it in Paris.
Rob, thank you very much for your time. Best of luck with everything. I'm sure you see the qualifiers.